Hello, for this section, I'll talk about the basics of using controls and as well as some of the basic output controls. For the controls, these attributes, I'm using a button in this example, but these attributes like padding, margin, gravity, and text size, they apply to virtually all the controls. I'll demonstrate these attributes on the button control. Then I'll talk about how to get reference to the control. That's the first step to manipulating the controls in source code. And then I'll go over event handling. And usually the event that you are handling is clicking on the control. So it's usually the on-click listener. And then I'll go over the basic output controls. Toast is like a message box that pops up. It's like the message box from Windows, the message box function from Windows. Log is like sending a message to the log window in Eclipse. When you run something, when you run things, there's this log window down here called logcat. Log basically sends a message to this window, so it's like ongoing messages here. TextView is like a label or a text block if you come from Windows. ImageView lets you put a picture up on your application. Okay. So I'll start with the basic attributes of controls, the very common attributes that apply to all the controls. So this, once again, I'm starting up with a basic program like this. It's using relative layout by default. TextView, I'll be using a button because I want to do event handling. So change it to a button here. For padding is the space. So when you highlight button, you have this blue rectangle. Padding is the distance from between the blue rectangle and the text. So padding, there's a couple of paddings. I'll just padding top, say 40 dp. So you see the top of the hello world and the blue rectangle has this gap coming from this quarter-inch gap from this. Next, margin is the space in between controls. So I'll add a second control. And relative layout, well, I could change to a linear layout, I guess. Make it okay, I guess I'll stick with the relative layout. I want this button, the second button. Right now it's like on top of it. How about number 2 here? This is number 1. So right now they're sort of overlapping. I want to make this button, the second button, below that one. So I'll have to give an ID to the first button. Button 1 here, below, right? So layout below. I'm referencing button 1, so I'm using ID. And again, it's not showing it. Oh well. Maybe if I save. Okay. So I just saved. See this XML file has been saved. Now if I press Control Spacebar, I have this. So button 1. So this button is underneath that one. So you can see number 2 is underneath. Number 1 is using the relative layout. The other option is to go to linear layout, and you don't have to do this. You just line them up one after the other. So number 2. So I'm trying to showcase the margin, right? So padding I just shown. So I'm doing the margin. Margin again, you have like margin. If you use this one, that means you're setting the top, left, right, bottom margin. So I'm just setting a top margin for now. So you see this gap. Let me make it a little bit more clear. So for button 1, I'm using padding of 40. Button 2, I'm having a margin of 80. So this is the 80. This green line is the 80. And the 40 is between the number 1 and the top edge of the blue rectangle here. So this distance is the 40. This much longer distance. This is 80. So margin is like the distance in between controls, whereas padding is the distance between the text and the border of the control. I'll go over gravity. Gravity is like text alignment, but there's also a text alignment thing. I'll just show it here. So right now, currently the size, the width of the button is wrap content. The width of the button is it's just big enough to hold the number 1, right? So I'm gonna make it match parent. So match parent. So this way the button spans all the way across, and now it's easier to show the gravity attribute. This is so I can show the gravity attribute. Gravity is basically text alignment. You can have left, right? See how it goes on the left. So if I do right, and it goes to right. These things can be ORed, so you can have right, and then center, like vertical center. So it's on the right, but it's vertical center. Let me try that again. What I did is, what I have to do is this padding. I put this padding in previously for example to show the padding attributes. I had to get rid of that. Right, so the padding takes effect after gravity. So now it's like centered, right? The number 1 is vertically centered. It's on the right side and it's vertically centered. But if I put in the padding, then it's no longer centered because the padding introduces gap, on top of number 1. So this gravity alignment thing is it's centered only, like it's like centered pre-padding center. This way centered. Bottom, right? Then this way it's like aligned on the bottom. So it's not centered. It's slightly, it's aligned to the bottom edge of the this doesn't work. So here. So that's the gravity. It's a text alignment thing. Now there is a text alignment attribute, but it doesn't seem to be doing anything. I'll just kind of go over that. Text alignment, and you can tell the center, I guess. Oh, wait, it's by default center, so I don't want that. So if you try these things like text start, it's still centered. No matter what you do, it seems to be centered. Text end, still centered. So I just say unused. Not really sure what that does, but text alignment is done by the gravity attribute. It's not done by the text alignment attribute. So that's I just put it here. Text, well, I've been using it all along. Text is what you put on the control. Text size, this is pretty common because a lot of times, for me at least, the text is too small. So go over here. So text size, the dimension that you use for text size is SP, scale independent pixel. Not the DP is for distance, right? Like DP is like for graphics. Text size, the font size is SP. So how about 20? See what that does. So just take a better look here. 20 is okay. This I'm gonna change it to like a bigger number, like 50. Okay. So you see this text size is much bigger. So that's how you change the text size using the you change the text size by using the text size attribute, and you also use SP as the unit of measuring. Referencing the object, this is like getting a reference to this button object in code. Now I've given it the ID of button 1, but I still have to call a function to get a reference to it. So this is the code that's generated by default. So there's only two things, on create. So when the application starts, it goes here, it goes to on create, and so here is where I'm gonna get my button 1. Okay. Okay, so it's this. So I Control Shift O. It's not imported, so just when I press Control Shift O, it comes to import. So that's the new import here. Okay, the function that's needed is find view by ID, or find, what would I say here? Find view by ID, yeah. So find view is sufficient. So find VI, so you can see this function, find view by ID. This ID is an integer ID. It's actually r.id.button1. Okay. It's actually it's button 1. This is the ID. It's when you type in this line and save the XML file, though, somewhere else the Android will have a integer declaration under the R class, the R for resource. Now this thing, find view by ID, it's actually returning a view object. That's why I have to typecast it. See, here's the function, find view by ID. It's returning a view object. A button is a kind of a type of view object. So I have to convert it like this. So this is how you set, get a reference to button. If you want to, you can change the text, right? Like right now, the text says number 1, right? At this point, you can change it to something else, like set text. Okay, so you can like new button name. So if I run this, the program should start up and should put a new text here. Might be too large. The font might be too large, and make it back to smaller thing again. Okay. Yeah, why don't I just run it right now? Just show this. Just show this part. Okay, so we'll run this. Yeah, I just press the shortcut key for running it. So as you can see, the button, it's the caption for the button is being set to the new button name. Okay. And next, I'll show how to handle the click event on the button. So I'll take out this. The usual reason that you get the reference to the button is to attach an event handler, is not to set the text of the button. But although that does happen, like sometimes you have a start button and you want to call it cancel. After you click start, the button becomes like a cancel button. That does happen, but usually it's a click. So if you type in click, you have all these. The event handlers in Android and also in Java, they usually call listeners. So it's like click list. right? Click listener. So you have a long click listener and just a plain old click listener. So click listeners, well, I'll use click listener here. So this function takes so this function is taking a view dot on click. This is an interface. Go over to Android developer, develop, search for this. So this interface is an object that has only one function that's required to have a click function. Yeah, in some other languages, the event handler is a function. In C# it's a delegate. But in Java, they don't have standalone functions. Like functions have to belong to some object, right? So you create an object that has this this onClick function inside of it, and of course it has to be public. The function has to be public, and then they know what to do. So that's how you package functions. You're really giving it a function, but you're giving it a function that's wrapped inside an object. So going back in here, this set on click listener is expecting this interface. I'm gonna copy that here. So I'm gonna create it down here. Right. Just do this. Control Shift O to import. Okay. So at this point, there's quite a few. There's actually 2 on click listeners. It's the one on view. Not this one. Why is this one view? Because a button object is a view object. So I'll go right button. Right. So you see from here the reference for the button that the button is inherited from TextView, in turn inherited from view. So so that's why when I have to choose the import, I choose this one. Okay. So my listener, now it's say there's something wrong with it because you have to implement the onClick, right? The onClick listener interface has the onClick function. So I don't have that. So that's why the error is. So put a mouse over it, put a mouse over this, and you get this add and implemented methods. So you click here, and they have this onClick thing here. So let me just put some random junk here. I'm gonna put it here. So they need a right. Oh, here. Okay. So that's how I satisfy the onClick listener. This is just the initial example. This is not what you actually do in Android programming. I'm just using this as an initial example because it's the easiest way to understand what's going on. So set onClick listener wants this interface. There's a class that implements that interface, and therefore it's okay. So I'm creating this class. This class implements interface, which is requested by this function. This is a warning because this is kind of useless, right? Yeah, the value is not used yet. But what this lets me do is set a breakpoint here, toggle breakpoint. So I can go into debug mode, and this thing pops up, and just choose it. You can check this. So you always choose that one. And so I'm waiting for debugger to start up and so forth, and there it is. So when I hit this, I have to go into debug perspective. Ooh. So here I can go into debug perspective. So I hit this, it's gonna break right there. It's gonna break right there. I'm gonna tab it on my phone also. Okay, so you see it's it's blue because I tapped on it, so it's stuck here. So the event handler works. That's basically my way of showing that. I click on the button, the debugger stops here, so the event handler works. That's the purpose of this thing. There's nothing to debug really. It doesn't do anything. That's why. So just continue and just disconnect usually, or this one, disconnect or terminate. Either one's okay. So go back to Java perspective. Okay, this is not what people programming Android usually do. I'll say to talk about why, because usually there's a member variable here, like for example, if I want to count the number of clicks, right, I'll do this, and then this is like a separate class, right? So and it's private. Okay, I make it private, so I can't access it. I can't just do, if I want to track the number of like clicks, I can't just do this, because so for this kind of scheme to work, I would have to create the listener object, find some way to pass things in here. That's too much work. So usually this is an inner class, so it's like this. So it's bundled, my listeners inside of this outline view. See in the outline view, you can see main activity and then my listener. Okay, by putting the class inside, so by making my listener an inner class of main activity, I can access the count variable. Oh, why is it complaining now then? So this count is not used. I just used it here. Oh well. So that's why usually it's an inner class of some sort. And now again, this is not what people do, but the purpose of this is to make it, the purpose of using this as an inner class is to give you access to these variables easily. So I'll go over the next slide and talk about output, and I'll use the text view first, because I want to display this count on a text box. I'll get rid of this. Actually, do this. Call it TextView. TextView is like a label or text block if you come from Windows. Number 2. Okay. Let's just put a whole world here. I have something else planned out for this. Okay. Don't. This is button. Okay, so text view has to be below button 1. Right, text view. Okay, text view hello world is below button 1. I also give text view an ID. So I can reference it in code. So I'll put a text view here. And same thing here, like I have to get a reference to it. Right? Same thing. You have to do the typecasting. And it's the same function. It's always the same function. It's always find view by ID. Text view. Oh, I have to import. Okay. Okay, so the reason that the button is declared here, text view is declared here, because I intend to use text view later on. This is very common. Button is declared here because all I want to do is attach an event handler. Once I attach my event handler to the button, I'm done with the button, no longer using it, and so forth. So count, and I want to text. The way you output on a text view is called a set text. Okay, button clicked. Counter number of times, right? Now in C# this will work. In Java, they won't do a toString. I don't think there's a toString, right? So no such thing. Okay. So it's this thing. Okay. So when I click, I increment the count. It starts at 0. So increment count, so it becomes 1, and then I go button click count number times. Okay. And I'll run this now. Should be okay. Check this out, no problems. So by default it says hello world, right? So tab it, goes 1, 2, 3, 4, so forth. Okay. So 7, 8, 9. Okay. So that's me showcasing the text view. Use set text to put, to set the text of this label, text view label. Actually, I'm not quite done with this slide. Yeah, I'm not quite done with this on-click listener yet. Because, again, this is actually not what people do. Although it works, clearly it works. And it's easy to understand. You see, I'm creating a class. I'm, implementing this interface. I'm stuffing this thing here. Okay. That's because this only used one time. And you don't need to create a type for it. You want to reduce the number of class names, basically, right? Like I'm using this only one time for this button. So I don't really need to do that. So what people really do, you see instead of new, they use an anonymous class. So you do this, say anonymous inner type, blah, blah, blah. So double click. Now, if you remember, it's actually not this, right? It's actually view.that. Yeah, so then I don't have to have this import here. Yeah. That import is because I am using this. So let's move this over here. So no need to declare a class. No need to have a class name, no need to introduce a name like my listener. No need to introduce a name just to use it one time, because I'm only using it one time. I'm just doing it here. So I'm defining a class here that uses this interface, has this function. Get rid of this. I'm defining a class here, but without giving it a name, without having to allocate a name like my listener or whatever, because I'm using it only one time. So this is what probably what the most common way of doing event handling is. There's another way. So I'll just try this out and make sure it actually works. So there are no problems here. I'll run it. It goes here. Go right here so you can see. It's too slow. It actually turns blue. The button actually turns blue when I click on it, but this thing is too slow, I guess. Okay, whatever. So that's that. Now, this is a very common way of doing event handling. There's another way I want to show, and that's more a Windows-like way. So it's so let me comment out this part here first. This whole thing's not needed anymore. Keep it around for now, I guess. Let me see. So I just do this. What the heck? Simplify, delete. Can always type it back in. Okay, so now this thing just gets a reference to the text view, basically. So this other way of doing event handling is to use onClick attribute, and you just make up your function like button one onClick. Okay. Now, what's this, right? So, so I do this, search for it. Because how else would we know? Because there's no code completion in this GUI. I mean, in the IDE as of right now. So you somehow have to know how to write this handler. So onClick. So search for. That's not good. Okay. Try that again. Then here. Don't click the first choice, right? It's the second choice. Last time I just kind of clicked on the first entry. Okay, it's actually this one. Talk about it. So search for onClick. So there, onClick. Try to get rid of this. Try to get rid of find. Okay. So here, you click on this onClick. Oh, it will tell you what it is. Okay, so onClick. Okay. The name of the method to invoke when the view is clicked. This name must be correspond to a public method that takes exactly one parameter of type view. So if you say onClick equal say hello, then you must declare this thing, right? So it's public. It has a return type of void. This name is the name that I just typed in, and it has a view. Okay, so this thing. Okay, so it has to be in this main activity. Control-Shift-O, get rid of the extra imports. Okay, so it has to be void. This name, function name, is the name that I put in here. Okay, and it has to be view. Okay, now again, how do you know this? Like, oh yeah, Control-Shift-V, I guess. Control-Shift-O to get the V. Okay. How do you know this? You have to find it online. You have to find it online. You read the stuff and they tell you, public, right? It has to be void. It has to, there's one argument called view. Okay. So I can put I erased all my stuff. I have to write it all over again, huh? So count plus. That's why I should have kept it. Okay, so I rewrote the handler here. So whenever I click, the execution goes to this function, and it sort of runs this thing, updates the text in the label. I'll just run it here. It's coming. Yeah, you can see it. Oh, you see the blue thing right there. Sometimes you can see the blue thing, I guess. Okay, so that's it. You click the button. I can also click on mouse here. Same thing. So that's that. Now, this other way that I showed before, where you have a button B or something, and B dot set onClick listener. I think that's the easier way for beginners, because you don't have to know that much, right? This thing, you just type in new, control space, just follow suggestion, double click here, and they'll come up with this for you. Like, you don't have to know the prototype here. You don't have to know the function signature here, because Eclipse will generate this for you. Whereas over here, you have to look it up online for now. Okay. So that's why for my examples that in the video, I'll stick to this kind of approach, because Eclipse will generate the function signature for you, because I am too old and too dumb to memorize anything. Okay, so but in the future, once Eclipse has support for this kind of thing, this is actually better looking, right? This is like just a function, and this is like more stuff here. I mean, and you have to create a reference to a button to do this. Like, this is not complete code. You have to you have to have this be find view by ID thing, right? Yeah, you have to use this thing. Throw in the ID there. So it's all this stuff versus this. I'll take this anytime. But for this video, I use this because I don't have to memorize this thing. Okay. So I'll just kind of take a little detour to Windows, where Windows is, they do it this way because and it's very easy. And I think in the future it's going to be the same thing on Android. So I'll take a detour here. So I'm taking a little Windows detour here. Let me see. There we go. So I set up basically the same thing, right? A button O. Okay. So it's like this. Oh, this is bad. Whatever. Yeah, I'm trying to make a button and a text box here. Trying to make it more like that. Okay. Oh, need to zoom in a little bit here. Oh, this is it. Okay. Okay, so I have a button and a text label, text block, what I call. So very similar to the Android situation. Content, because this doesn't have to be text. That's why it's a content. Right, it's not limited to being a string. So, although I'm using a string here. So on Windows, it's on click. Next line. Okay, on click. Right, click. It's actually not on click. It's click. So I can call it like button one. Well, what do I call it on Android? Button one on click. Call it that. Right. So, see, what I'm trying to show is that on Windows you can right click on this and go to definition. Now there's no code here yet. Okay, there's just empty thing other than this thing, which is auto generated code. Go to definition, and they just generated this thing for me, this event handler for me, so I don't have to memorize, that it's a void and it takes sender and route to event args. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. I can do this, right click this thing, and then it generates it for me. Okay, that's why I'm trying to show that once the GUI has this feature, then this would be the preferred way to do event handling, because this code is much simpler than what people normally currently do on Android. But this is not. I won't be using this technique in the videos because there's no easy way of generating this prototype. I have to type it in, so that's why. That's all I'm trying to say with Windows example. Is that this is an Android tutorial thing, so that's why the Windows example to showcase the kind of support that the GUI will one day have. So I'm done on this event handling. I gone over TextView, so I go over Toast. So instead of TextView, right? I don't need a TextView anymore. I've done the TextView. Toast is a way to like pop up like a message box, kind of like. So it's just I'll do it this way first. Control Shift O, I guess. Toast. Okay, toast. There's a factory function called make text. You don't actually use constructor. You use a make text. Context is this one I should show too. Okay. Context is basically the activity that you're in. So currently, like this should be this, right? Okay, and text should be what was it? Enter. Text is gonna be the button got clicked. Oh, I shouldn't have deleted that many times, right? And the number of times is to string count times. Duration is how long the pop-up is. So in Windows, the message box has an OK button that you can kind of dismiss. This one auto dismisses itself, but there's a time limit, so you can use like short or long. So you short, and then you have to display it by saying show. Okay. Now this is what gets. This is show you how this object works, right? This is factory function that returns the object, and then you call t.show. Actually, the way people code it is actually more like this, and then just .show. Right, this function returns an object, a toast object, and then and this object gets the .show. So this is like a shorthand for this stuff. So I just use that to show how the functions work, how the object works. And this is actually pretty common in Android that an object dot function 1 dot function 2 dot function 3, and that works because all those functions are returning that object, the toast object in this case. Okay, so I'll run it and see if it works. Oh, actually, I'll see if this has this thing. Go here. Oh. This thing's broken. So, you see the text over there. Wow. Oh. Okay, so click. So you see this is the toast, the message that you kind of get. Over here is kind of like pop-up message. It's like a tooltip. I wouldn't say it's like a message box. It's more like a tooltip from Windows, but the functionality is like a message box. Okay, so it's showing up here. It's not changing this anymore because I took out that line. So this, I should go back to the other way of event handling. Right, so this is the context, which is for examples, for most of the examples I'll be going over. Context is the activity that you're in. Context tells the operating system who's calling this and what kind of permissions you have, because this thing doesn't require permission, right? This is just popping a message. But some of these operations, like accessing the camera or doing networking or whatever, those require specific permissions. And if you don't have the right permission, it doesn't work. So this context object also contains permission information. And there's something about the other way of doing event handling. I have to go back to that. There's a trick on that one. So button B one button find view by ID R dot ID dot button 1. Oh, and import that. Button 1 dot listener, right click listener. So it's this one. Go new, control space, do this. I'll put this here, and it won't work. Most likely it won't work. Get rid of this. I won't be using this anymore. Oh, and I have to get rid of this, right? Because it's gonna look for this function. And it's not gonna find it, and it's gonna crash. So okay, so I have it here. Oh, I have to put semicolon here. And this is view dot instead of simply that. Okay. Right. The problem here is that okay. So let's see the error message. Okay, the method in type toast is not applicable. So one of these arguments are wrong, or bad, and one of these, context, character sequences, string, and integer, which is this thing. So the argument that's bad is this, because this is pointing to this class. This is not pointing to this main activity. We want the context needs to be the activity that you're calling from. The context tells you the OS who you are, so the context cannot be this. Okay, when this thing is out here in a separate function, that works. Okay, but in this case, what you need to do is this. Yeah, so what you need to do is, so this is how the inner class works. So now the error went away. Okay, so this is how the inner classes work. When you use an inner class, this pointer is gonna be pointing to this thing that you're declaring, and without a name, because there's no name, right? Anonymous. So to get a pointer to this thing, this is syntax you use. Okay, so this is how you do it. I'm gonna run it again, just be sure it works and all that. So this, so you can see that down here, third time, click 3 times. Okay. So I went over toast, and I go over log. When you're running it, there's this there's a bunch of windows here. This is log cat. You can get more windows here. Guess lots of windows here. Okay, the window menu, windows, and the other windows. If the log cat window is not shown here, like I'm trying to say, if I got rid of it, by accident, how do I get it back, right? So window, boy. So log cat. It's Android category, log cat. So you gotta get a window. So I was saying is the log, this thing sends it to the log cat window. Oh, I have this thing here. Get rid of it. Show you how you get back. Okay. So let me just get rid of that for now. Just do the coding first. So instead of toast, don't delete. So I don't have to keep typing that stuff in again. Log.I. So tag. Tag is like a category string. I'll show you what it is. And the message, this is the log message. See, that's why I keep this around. So I keep typing this in over and over again, right? Okay. So forget the toast. So right now when I click, it's gonna send a log message to this place. Okay. So log has like a couple different logs, error, warning, info. I'm using info most of the time. You'll be using info too. Debug, verbose, whatever. So I for info. So if you want to print out an error log, like an error message, and use E, E for error. What was it? D for debug. Oh, like a D for debug. If you want to print out something called debug. But okay. For now, I'll go this. Okay. And no warnings, right? For now, no warnings. Okay. So now I run this to show what the log thing does. Okay. The log thing goes into that logcat window. So maximize this window. Sort of. Okay, like that. So the error and the debug, whatever, is filtered by this thing here. Okay. So I want debug message, I want info messages. There's another filter here based on the source. I'm gonna try to scale this way. So based on the source of the message, like this is like everything. Like there can be thousands and thousands of messages here, right? This is the thing that's coming from my package. Now, in the code, I actually have I had this thing, right? So that's yet another filter. That's called the tag. See, the first string is called tag. Second string is the message. So tag, you click on the green plus sign here. You add a tag, right? The tag is Lewis because of this Lewis. So increase it. So again, okay, so go back here. So this is basically another way to filter out, right? So this is one way to filter out the kind of messages. This some other way, right? This filters out by this. So okay, so this is another filter. So okay, so go back program. Every time I click this button, it's gonna send a message. Okay, so you try to do that here. Right, see, it's coming in. Oh, there's a message actually over here, huh? It's actually over here, like that. Let's do this. I'll click on this thing, and it comes in here. So I'll tap it on my phone. So there. So that's how it is. Also here, but here, this one, all messages, all kinds of junk, right? So this one has that. Now if you use debug, so you have that. So it's like a level thing. Okay. So debug includes info. Verbose includes like everything. So it's like the highest level, right? Like the widest filter, and to catch everything. Right? This one catches debug, info, and so on. Okay, info will capture info and so on. Okay, but see this one. This is actually good. So verbose, all kinds of stuff, right? Debug, a little less stuff. Info, only the orange and red stuff, orange stuff. Warning, warning. Okay, wait, what's color? Oh, green, huh? Okay, so info is green. I'm getting this. Okay, so errors the red one. Lots of errors, right? What kind of QA is this, right? Warning is the orange. Info is the green. See if I can get some. Oh, there's some green stuff here. Debug is the blue. Does it tell you? And they have tags and all that. Okay. So that's basically me going over the logging mechanism. But all I use is info. I mean, the only thing this is good for is it doesn't store to memory. So it's just outputting it here. Okay, so I've gone over TextView previously, and the last topic of this segment is the ImageView. Is how you display a picture. So a little bit about this. Back. Oh, I have to get this in here. Okay. So go back to Package Manager. Now, Android pictures are stored in drawables. They're called drawables. and you see the icon that you have. You know, like when you use the wizard to create the program, there's an icon thing. There are multiple copies of icon. If you look on if you search your hard drive for this thing, you don't have to search your hard drive. Just search the project directory. You see that these things have different pixel densities. That this is the biggest one, has the most number of pixels. And this is the smallest one, the fewest number of pixels. Okay, and this one doesn't get used anymore. Low LDPI is like low dots per inch or something. So the low resolution pictures, medium resolution, high resolution, whatever. So the idea is that the same picture has different files, and the OS will pick the right picture depending on the device resolution. So it's kind of complicated. I'll just use one picture for my little simple example here. So I have a panda picture here. I'll draw it in the middle. So I have a picture of panda. Okay, press Control C or copy. Okay, and then go to Eclipse. I think this is high. So right click here, paste in here, paste. Okay, paste. And we have a panda picture here. Okay. Now ideally you should have multiple versions of this panda picture, like more pixels, more detail, whatever, on different folders. But so whatever, I'll just put in one place. Yeah, this is called a resource qualifier, the LDPI or MDPI. Okay, they're all drawables. Yeah, so let me just go over this first. ImageView, right? ImageView. And what property? Source and scale type. Oh, come on. Okay, let me save. What properties they want? Content description. Okay, so this is like a text. You know, in case you can't load the image, you put some text in there. Let me see, content description, panda. It's kind of like in, for the HTML tag, the image tag, you have this alt attribute or something like that. Okay, so that's okay. That got rid of the warning. So as usual, you need the high-end width thing. So wrap content. So that's the other thing you need. So I got that too. The wrap content, the high-end width thing. Okay. Source is the image, and scale type is how to fit that image into that picture. Okay, so source it's a drawable. Okay, so control space. It's a drawable, and then control space. It's the panda. Okay. Drawable, all of these things. Okay, if you put a file in any of these folders, they are going to be mapped to the drawable. Okay, they're going to be mapped to the drawable, and then they're accessible with drawable. The MDPI or LDPI, whatever, those are quantifiers. They tell the OS like what folder to draw the file from for optimal situations, for best. But there's only one here, so they'll always pull out this one because that's the only one I have. So so you can go over here and see the panda. It's kind of okay. So future examples I won't be using. This is just too much of a hassle. Every time I do this, I have to do this now below the ID and below this. Okay, so below the text view thing. Okay, so the picture is underneath the hello world. Yeah, this scale is how do you scale the picture? Okay, so scale type. So usually center inside. Keep the panda picture inside of the image view. So this. Let me write and see what happens. go. So that's the picture. Next, I guess I'll try to stretch the picture. So instead of wrap content, I get match parent. Oh, it's not stretching it. Okay. So as you can see, and I don't really trust this thing, so I'll always run it. To be sure. So there. So this is not stretching it. This one does not stretch it. Right, center inside. What if I go fit center or something? What does that do? Okay. So this one stretches it. So scale types how to how to stretch that. What about center? It doesn't do that. Oh, fit start. Oh, well, puts it up here. Okay, so that's the last example for this segment. So that's the last example for this segment. And this is basically how you use the ImageView. So for this section, I'll go over the input controls. I'll go over button. I previously gone over button already, but there's some graphical aspects. You can basically put a picture inside a button. So I'll go over that part, putting a picture inside a button. Then I'll go over checkboxes and radio buttons, and these two are really similar. It's just that checkbox is the one where you can make multiple selections. Like out of 4 choices, you can select like 2 or 3 or all 4 choices. And radio button is the one where you can only select 1 out of 4 choices. Then I'll talk about the edit text. This is the text box. It can let you choose from a number of different keyboards. So you can have a keyboard for entering text or entering numbers, a keyboard. So and some way of handling events on the edit text. So the simplest thing to do is just call get text, and then get the string of the edit text. There are additional events like on focus and also editor action that lets you interact with the text boxes as people type stuff in. So okay, so the button, already gone over what the buttons do in previous video. Just go over these 2 attributes, the drawable right and the drawable padding. So this is a brand new project. I'll change this to linear layout. It's easier to use. Okay, that probably try to minimize this stuff here. So I'll chop all the unnecessary stuff. Okay. Oh, zoom in here, I guess. Okay, so first I have a button, so I'll change this to button. Okay. These two basically let you put a picture inside the button along with the text. So along with the hello world text, I want to put a picture in there. So I got a picture from the internet. You can use whatever picture, just copy. And then go over drawables. This time I'm gonna create my own drawables folder. Drawable. The dash, like I mentioned before, is a qualifier. So Android will pick the right resolution. They're different. These are just different versions of the same file. I mean, it's the same picture, but different files. But they have different pixel densities. Some of them have more pixels, and other of them have fewer pixels. So I actually don't know which one. This picture, this upload picture I just got off the internet. I'm not gonna try to figure out where to put this. Whether it should be going here or going here or whatever. Okay, so I'll just put in a drawable. As long as it's in this folder, this file will always get picked up. This is like the fallback. Okay. This is if say the phone is XH DPI, extra high density, I guess. If they don't find this upload file in here, they'll just go over here. So, and it's the same thing down here too. If they try to look for a string in this folder, and this is for Android tablets when the shortest width is at least 600 dp. So basically, for bigger phones or tablets, they'll look for a string here first, and if they don't find it, then they'll go to the fallback. So the fallback folder is the name that doesn't have the dash. So basically, I'm putting it here. That's where it's gonna go look. Okay, so I put it in there by pasting in there. What is it again? Drawable, right? So drawable, and I put it there. Upload. Okay, you should see that. It's a little big, but whatever. So like, there's drawable right, so there's obviously must be a drawable left and drawable top and drawable bottom. So drawable left. Then the picture goes on the left, right? The other attributes are padding, drawable padding. So this is just introduce a space between the picture and the button. Drawable padding, 40 dp. So it's like 1/4 of an inch. So there's this gap, 1/4 of an inch gap. So that's that. And image button. Image button is like the whole button is image. There's no hello world. So show that. Image button. So for image button, it's a source. SRC means source. And again, control space. It's going to be in the drawable. It's upload. There. Oh, there's a warning, huh? So mouse over. Okay, it's missing content description. Yeah, whenever you have an image, they want a content description. Like, what if the image doesn't load? So I'll just say upload. So no more warning. Like, no more warning. So that's button and image button. Now I'll go over the checkbox and the radio button. You're always gonna have width and height. So this is a message. I'll say choice number 1. That's probably the minimum. Okay. And later on I'll be reading the checkbox in code, so I'll just put an ID here. Choice 1 checkbox, CV for checkbox. So I put 3 checkboxes here. Okay, saved. I want them to be vertical, so it's linear layout, so that means orientation vertical. Okay, so like that. Now this is, you know, the default code. Actually, this is not even needed. Yeah, just get rid of it. So I think that's about as simple as you can get. Oh. Okay. So I need to have references to these checkboxes. So the plan is like when I click on checkbox, I'll use the checked property to see if the box is checked or not. I'll explain the tag thing a little later. Checkbox. So 3 checkbox references. Then I'll get, you know, get those references, because at this point they're null, right? So it's always find view by ID. R, it's always R ID. This one, I'll do that for the next 2. So now the plan is, if I click on any of the boxes, I'll report which one got picked. So I'll need an event handler. So as usual, it's the onClick. OnClick listener. That's the usual event handler for most of the objects. And I'll try to put it here. So previously I would create it in here, but since I'm kind of using the same event handler for multiple places, I'll create it outside. So it's this one. Highlight it. Okay, class. Checkbox. Click listener. Just make up some name. Okay, I pasted it because I copied it when I had the thing over it. Okay, so Control-Shift-O, and again bring in the view because it's a descendant. The checkbox is a descendant from the view. Put mouse over it, and implemented methods. Click. So here I like to go online and talk about this. Like, okay, I'll put the handler in there first because I'm putting a null in there right now. So I'll put it in here first. Okay. And basically I will be using the same event handler for all 3 checkboxes. And just to test it, I guess I'll put up a toast here. Oh. So for the message, I'll just put down on click. This is temporary. Oh, this is just to show that the code actually get here. Okay. So now I'll run it. Bring it up here. So you can see the message popping up down here. That's to show that the code actually, the code actually gets here. So the next thing is how do I know which one it is, right? Because they're all using the same handler. So I'll go online, see what they have to recommend. This Android developers, develop, guides, interface, whatever. Just search for it, right? That's not realistic. It's under interface, input controls, checkboxes, but probably better thing is to search for it. I have this filter thing. Oh, it's the second one, but like if you want the guides, usually you want to try out the guides first. So talk about it. So they have something similar to what I have. So okay, so here's what they're doing. They're using this, okay, get ID, and the way they're doing it, you know how over here I have these references here. That this approach allows them to not have those references, okay? Because they just whatever view got passed in, they get the ID, and they based on the ID, it's like which one got picked. So this is one approach. I have references here, so I can just check out the is check one, right? I can do this, right? Choice dot is checked, So let me build up a string to post. Instead of this string, let me build up something that will vary depending on who got checked. All right, so if checkbox 1, choice 1 got checked, oops, just append number 1 and do the same thing to the other 2. So in this approach, I'm using the checked, property, or it's no properties in Java, checked feature, whatever, property. So instead of this, I'll put down toString. And let me try that. So that's one way to see what got checked. Right, so number 2, you can see the thing on the bottom. Number 3, okay. So that's how you that's one way of doing it. They show this way. Ooh. So they show this approach. How do they do this? Yeah, so there's they take the view, they cast it to checkbox, and then they're using is checked. Okay. There's another way. Usually, like this method is checked, similar to this method. They're also using is checked, right? I mean, they know which one's doing the clicking, but they still need this to see if it's checked. This This is okay for simpler situations. A lot of times, the tag of property, the tag feature is very useful. Tag basically lets you attach any data structure you need to an object. So over here, that's what you do. Set text, not set text. Tag. Oh, no, it's not bringing it up. Okay, tag. So it's a get tag, set tag, right? It's number 1, I guess. Right. So instead of doing this, number 1, so get checked. Well, I can see which one got clicked on. It's a way for me to tell which one this is. Oh, this is not good. Yeah, Eclipse will, this view arc0, Eclipse will use things like arc0, arc1, and so forth. So you should really fix that. Fix that to whatever that makes more sense. So over here, what this demonstration code can tell you is like which one got clicked, right? Because right here I can see which one got checked, but I didn't actually know which one got clicked. Okay, and so there with the computer example, the web examples method is they do this. V, right. Whatever. They typecast it. And then they look for the ID. Okay. So I'm going to use the tag to do accomplish the same thing. Okay. So my way is I won't need this. Just okay, the one that got checked is gonna be v.getTag. Okay. I can use toString, or because it is a string, or I can just cast it because it really is a string. So I'm putting a string here. I'm giving it a so-called tag here, and then over here I'm extracting it. So this one, something plus, got clicked, and this is the preferred solution, not this. This is a lot of code. I mean, if you have like 10 checkboxes, you have 10 of these. That this code grows based on the number of checkboxes. Okay, this one-liner, it doesn't matter if I have 100 checkboxes. It's always this. Okay, I have to set up here. I have to set it up here, right? I set the tag here, but no matter how many checkboxes I do, it's always this one line. Such and such got clicked. So okay, so first I'll demonstrate this. I'll say a little bit more about this. Just be sure it actually works, right? Okay. So no got clicked. Oh gosh, that's not good. No got clicked. Okay. Something's wrong here then. Take a look. Oh. I always did only on one. Okay. Let's try again. Oh. So number 3 got clicked. Number 3 got clicked again. Number 1 got clicked. So it's working, okay? So this scheme is working. And that should be the general scheme whenever you have one event handler handling the event for multiple controls. You usually want to use the tag. And you don't want some scheme like this or whatever. Okay, this tag, takes in an object. You can use any data structure, whatever data structure that makes sense for your programming task. Okay, and the code will be like this. There's no variable, by the way. This number 1 is stored here, so it's not like there's a bunch of variables here. So that's good. You want to minimize the number of variables exposed, because if you put variable here, it's going to get exposed to changes. Other functions can change it. Now the way I do it here is it's hidden here. Actually, if that's the goal, you can get rid of this. Like, you don't even have checkboxes here. If you can actually keep track of it. Right, so there's no variable at the class level, and of course you won't be able to do this, but there's some other way to tracking it probably. So a lot of times the program will look something like this, where checkbox is basically set up to be an intelligent object. It's got some kind of data structure tagged to it. And then in the event handler, you just use that data structure. So there's no checkbox declare up here, and the system will scale. Even if you add more checkboxes, this is still this one line. Basically, it's handled in a uniform manner. So I'll just show this actually works. Yeah, so this system works. But of course you don't get this anymore, so it's less convenience. What this kind of thing amount to is kind of like a global variable almost. So it's it makes it more convenient, but if you don't need it, sometimes you can get away and don't need it. Okay, so that's the scheme. That's the key to handling. To have like one event handler for multiple controls, and this is most common for checkboxes and radio buttons. That's why I introduced this tag thing here. But sometimes the buttons also have this kind of feature where you have multiple buttons and they're handled by this one event handler object. Okay, I'll go on to this one, RadioButton. RadioButton is just like a checkbox, except how right now I can have multiple, I can check multiple of them. In the RadioButton, you can only select one of them, and they look like circles. And so it's just a minor change over here. The same kind of stuff applies. The thing with the radio button is that you have to group radio buttons under a radio group. So it's like this. Radio group. Let's just line it up. And radio button. It has to be radio button because it's inside radio group. And just to be neat, I'll change all the naming because they're all RB for radio button. Now this will complain that this layout linear parent's useless, so the basic saying don't need this. Because because it's a warning complaint. Just comment this out for now. Just comment that too. Okay. Now I need to copy this over, this namespace, because obviously they don't know what RadioButton is. And over here, every tag basically needs that height and width thing. Let's do it here. Do it here. Okay. So you see the radio buttons. Now, of course, I change a bunch of things here. So RadioButton, right? RadioButton. This is RB, R for the radio. So I change this to Shift Alt R or Alt Shift R. So Alt Shift R. Let's basically rename all the stuff here. Okay. So it's still on click listener, so whatever. Yeah, it should work. And in this case, okay, let me run it first. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I just changed. I click this. So I made some selections, so okay, so whatever, it works. In this case, you actually truly don't need this, because for radio buttons, you know that there's only going to be one selection. So whatever that just got selected, like based on this tag, you can tell. So maybe you want to put an integer in there or something, like this is choice 1, choice 2. So in this situation, you really don't need this. It's checked thing. But I think it's still there though. RadioButton R is checked. So it's checked is still. It's the same for checkbox for RadioButton. I'm just saying that. So you can still use the is checked thing. But there's really no need to, because it's only going to be one. Okay. Oh, RadioGroup orientation. What's this? So it's all vertical. I guess you can do it horizontally. Right. Horizontal. So it's like that. Horizontally. Okay, so that's the orientation. Same thing as the linear layout. So that takes care of this stuff. Okay, so now I go over to the EditText. First, let me create the EditText. Go back. Start over again, basically. So as usual, there's that height and width thing. Okay. So you always put height and width. Okay, so they're complaining about something. Input type or hint. So input type is like the keyboard type. So when you put your when you get into a text box, this keyboard, software keyboard pops up. What kind of keyboard is going to pop up? So input type, control space. The most common is text, single line text, multi-line text, or a number. But there's like web password, email addresses, bunch of them. Okay, so go over here. I've been on this. Oh, radio buttons. Supposed to go over this too, but so they're using the same get ID thing. So I prefer the tag approach. Okay, say that, because if I don't mention it, you're not gonna know about it, because they don't use that approach, tag approach. I've been using it since the Visual Basic 4.0 or something. Okay, text fields. It's a pretty long section, so they talk about keyboard types in pretty more detail. But I'll just use text for now. I'll kind of showcase them together later on. So the easiest way to utilize a text control is to have some button, like a web page, right? Like a submit button. Something like that. Just the usual height and width thing. You can just click your way through it, I guess. Here, click here. Wrap content. Oh, there we go, the button. So the easiest scheme is to hit a button and then use get text to read all the text boxes. So I'll present that scheme. And we have a whole bunch of junk here. Do I need this? Not sure. Oh, I need to give I need to give these things IDs so I can query them in the code, huh? Plus, they call it text. EditText. ET for EditText. And BTN for button, right? Actually, submit. Okay. So this one. So add a click listener. Oh, semicolon here. I guess I'll send a log. Yeah, I think that's the easiest. Yeah, the toast might get covered up by the keyboard. Oh. I know this. Oh. I need to import a log. So it's this one, Android util.log, not the Apache or whatever. Something to remember here, this is an inner class really. This on click listener really is in an inner class. It's almost as if I create a class here, my listener, implements, it's equivalent to this thing out here. So what I'm saying is that inside this class, there's no name for it. It's a one-time use kind of thing. But inside this class, you can't really access the button. You can't access variables here, but you could access variables out here. So private text box. Oh, not text box. Windows. What did I call it? This one. So inside this function, you could access variables here, but you cannot access variables here. So it's kind of like, it's kind of like a non-obvious, kind of confusing sometimes. But you need to realize that this class actually don't exist in this region of code. It actually exists like somewhere out here. It's as if I define it out here. Okay, class whatever, inner class. So that's why this has to be here. And so I have to get a reference to it because it's null. Okay, so I'll just send a log with the content of that text box. Oh, no, not this. Get text, and then to string. Okay. So I'm running it, no errors. Okay. Oh, need to open the log window, huh? Log window, bigger log window. Drag it in here. Okay. Oh, it's a filter. Yeah, it's a filter from previous sessions. Clear. Oh, put this here. So whatever, right? Submit. So I hit submit and it's over here. So TDNG. So that this thing works. That's the easiest way to work with text boxes, is to have a submit button somewhere. So it's like a web page, this approach. But then you have to have a submit button. You're not as interactive. So a lot of the stuff here, this whole guide, API guide, I click on, gosh. This whole API guide, a lot of this is actually just about how to make it more interactive. Okay, like instead of using the submit button, what's the other way of doing it? So the two things. So when you have multiple text boxes, you can have the focus. When people move from one text box to another text box, you can process the input. Alternatively, you can use the editor action, or actually you're going to use both of these. Okay, so what you're trying to do here is that, imagine there are two text boxes. I'm just putting two text boxes first. It's just saying imagine. Here. So I'll put down one for text. That's the one I had. I'll put down next for number. That's the other common thing. You enter some number. Let's call this one number. And from here on, I'm getting rid of the button. I'm not taking the submit button processing approach, although that is the easiest. Okay, so I'll get rid of this thing. Yeah, and there'll be 2 of them, right? So number, that's okay. So just get, yeah, these references, if you don't call this find by ID thing, they're gonna be null. Okay. So the idea is that to process the input as people are typing this stuff in or as they're moving around on this form, without having this the submit button. Better run this and point out some stuff here. Why the approach? Why they're using this approach, right? That's not the approach on Windows. Okay, so I'll show you why if you run it. So what happens on Windows is Windows has a physical keyboard with an enter key. I mean, every keyboard has an enter key. Okay, so on Windows you can just trap the enter key. Okay, so on this thing there's no enter key. I'm just trying to show that. Right, this thing has there's no enter key, right? There's no enter key. There's a next key, and then again there's no enter key, right? There's a done key. So the mechanism on here is not to trap the enter key, because for people coming in from Windows or people who want to do Windows programming on Windows, the way you do it is you trap that enter key, because that's when you should say when the user hits enter, they're done, right? That's not here, not the approach here. The user is done when they switch from one text box to another, like I'm here. Yeah, enter some junk. So when I tap the text box below this, then that's me telling the program, hey, I'm done. I enter my stuff. Okay. So losing focus is a way of saying they're done. Okay. The other way that they say they're done is they have this done thing here, right? That's they have the done button. So I'll show that again. They have the done button in the lower right hand corner. Yeah, because when I put my mouse over this, my mobiler is not gonna capture, I think. So anyway, that's the other mechanism, that the user is gonna tell your program that they're done. It's by hitting the done button. So I'll go over this one first. Focus change. And again, because I'm using, like before, I'll be using one event handler for both text boxes. So I have to create it out here. Okay. First of all, so focus, look for focus. Alright, so this one. Put my mouse over here for better highlighting. Suppose. Okay. So yeah, this one, set on focus change and copy this. Okay, here. Put in a no for now. Haven't written that one yet, so I just copied it. Oh, okay. What did I call it? T. Oops. Okay. So unimplemented methods, this stuff here. I'll just put in a log. Just show you the idea. Not really gonna do anything. In these examples, I keep them as simple as possible. And you probably want to know which one. I only have 2 here. It's not hard to guess, but I'll use that tag trick again, right? text box. Okay, this one I'm gonna call the number box. Okay, call by, I see this problem now again. Okay. This thing. Where's my cursor? Oh, I hate this. Oh. Okay, I got my cursor back. So I know which one's called by. It's called by this tag. Tag in a string here, just for display. Use whatever data structure that makes sense. And call by so and so and has focus. Oh, wait. Thinking about the... Okay. So I'll send out log message with the Lewis filter. This function is called by the text box, whatever, with the has focus equal whatever. So run that and see. Warnings. Where's the window? The import, the import's never used. Okay, I'm trying to get rid of that warning. Okay, no more. Okay, I'll run it. So I'll be switching focus between the two. Oh, I haven't attached the event handler yet, I just realized. Because I wrote it and this is still no. I'll drag the window out here. See the code, see the whole code. This. Also have to do it for this, right? So it's already here. Yes. Okay. Oh. So changing the focus here. So when I lose focus, I'll get has focus flag of false. and then the next focus, the next text box will have the call. So then I change focus again. So when people type in some stuff here, okay, and I'll clear this here, okay. So when people type in an input and they move on to the next box, okay, the clue is that, on focus change gets called and the has focus flag is false. So that's where, that's the time, that's the place in the code to process user input without using that submit button scheme that I mentioned earlier, which is the easiest scheme. The other thing is that done button on the corner here, on the lower right hand corner. Yeah, because people might also use that button, to signal that they're finished entering the number or whatever. So to do that, you use the IME options. Oh, first of all, I should go over this. I went over text and numbers, but yeah, I had to go over this. Go back. Drag back out here. Okay. Text 2, I'll call it text 2, and here I'll put in a multi-line text. Not multi-line text multi-line. Okay. And there's something wrong with this. I'll run it to show you, even though there's no. So when I put the focus, oh, never mind. One more thing. Right, okay, so this is multi-line, but it's only like taking up one line. Okay. So I wanted to take up the rest of the layout. So I use that wait thing, right? So 0 dp. Okay. This is the only control here that is using the wait. So all remaining space will be given to the control. Okay. So run it. I'll run it. So I'll put here. So right away I put I just tap on that text box in the middle, the big one. Now you see the cursor is like floating in the middle, and what I want to do is oops. So the cursor is like floating here. So I want to do is the cursor to be up here. So that's why the gravity is needed. Gravity, I don't use it that much. That's basically the text align. So in this case, the cursor is floating somewhere down here, and I'll make it up here. So fix it by using gravity. Top. It's top left, but it's already on the left. So this will fix that. So you see now the cursor is in the upper left hand corner as people most likely want. Okay. So that's what this gravity thing's for. Okay, so I had this. Let me go to this. Oh, I should do this for the new box too. Yeah, so I given the new text box, the multi-line text box, the same treatment as all these. Okay, so moving on to this one. This is that button, the done button that you see. But except that by default it's not done, right? It's next. So where's that program? I'll just run this again. So this one has no done button. If you rotate it, there will be a done button. Okay, but you know, so the multi-line text box doesn't have any button. Okay, the number box has a next button now. Okay, and the first text box has a next button now. You can change that. You can control whether it's a next button or a done button through the controlling. They call them text actions, but it's through this IME option thing that I mentioned in the slides. Remember, by default, it's going to be next, right? And pushing the next button is going to get you here. So if you want to use that option, you use done. Action done, I guess. Or use action none. Right, if you want a done button, you can do it like this. And this one doesn't really matter, because it doesn't show up anyways. And to trap clicking the done button, or actually to trap clicking the action button, this thing just sets it whether it's next or done. Okay, either way you can trap user clicking on the button by using this editor done. Editor action. So text T editor action. Oh, it's this one. Listener. I'll copy this. Copy. I have to create it out here first. Oh. Well, I guess I refuse to import the TextView. Whatever. I'll get rid of TextView and I'll do it. So they just had this. I mean, they had this thing. Refuse to import a TextView. Okay. I implemented methods. And like before, I'll just kind of put a log here. Oh. Also, like before, this argument list is no good. Okay. Ooh. File copied. Oh, because I keep losing it. Okay. I have a tag here. Okay. So the function is called on editor action called by this action ID key event. You don't need to really look at action ID. You could. Action ID is the whether it's the done button or next button, which is defined here. So you already know what it is because I put done here, so it's gonna be done over here. So yeah, that should be enough. This function got called by so and so. I need to know which done button is being pressed. Okay, so I just clicked run. Wow. Okay. I'll enter some random text. Okay. So I want to show is that I'm gonna hit the done button, and then it's gonna show up on the log, hopefully. There. Oh, doesn't show up on log. Oh. Same mistake as before. Yeah, I didn't add I just wrote the event handler without adding it here. Oh, huh. Yeah, it's too crowded. So I asked to write new. So I'm running it. Here we go. So I'm trying to show that when I hit the done button, it's gonna send that message. So there we go. I just hit the done button, it's got the message. So the simplest way is to have a submit button, and then when people click on submit, you use the get text to process all the text. If you want to track people's entering stuff into the text box, as they're doing it, the easiest way is to combine. You have to do both. You have to track, when they switch from one text box to another, via the focus mechanism, and then you have to track it. Some people will use that button, the done button or the next button in the keyboard. Okay, like the done button here, or the done button here in the lower right hand corner of the keyboard. They'll use that, and you need to track that, and that's when they enter in that's when they finish entering in their stuff. And that's done for the slide, but kind of mentioned this one has a lot more detail, and they also have this autocomplete thing. So though this is even a higher level of interactivity, this is even more interactive than having that done button or the loose focus approach. So as people entering in, you can put suggestions here. They're using a different control though, so that's it's something you want to explore. This is where you read about it. The API guide for text fields. Okay, so I'm done for this section.